In terms of PCOS, you mentioned that up to 20% of women could have this. Could you talk about some of the most common symptoms and some of the lesser known ones, in case somebody watching this who knows that something isn't quite right with their body might not yet have had a diagnosis?
Yeah, so let's look at it like an iceberg. The iceberg you can see are the symptoms. Under the surface are hormonal imbalances. So the most common hormonal imbalances will be insulin resistance, leading to high insulin, high androgens. So androgens are a group of sex hormones. Most common are, testosterone, dihydrotestosterone, DHT. But then we got massive issues with high cortisol. But then all of these hormonal imbalances can impact the menstrual cycle. So if we understand that the menstrual cycle, estrogen and progesterone are reliant upon a not healthy menstrual cycle. So now we got issues with insulin, androgens, cortisol, estrogen, progesterone. All right. So then we look at, all right, so let's say we got imbalances of these hormones, and these imbalances could be severe. They could be mild, because we have to understand that PCOS is very individual. We could have 10 women with PCOS here and have them explain their PCOS, and they're all experiencing a slightly different PCOS, because the endocrine system, one hormone impacts another hormone. So they all experiencing a slightly different PCOS. But what are the most common ones? It was interesting. I was reading a study just before. So the most common symptoms of PCOS are polycystic ovaries, which on ultrasound will appear as cysts on the ovary. They are just unmatured follicles. Hirsutism, which is the excess growth of thick, dark facial and body hair. Things like irregular periods is another one. Fertility struggles. Fatigue is a massive one. Insomnia, sleep apnea, weight gain, increased cravings and hunger, brain fog, anxiety, depression, low libido. So when we're looking at all this, it impacts your appetite, it impacts your energy, it impacts your weight, it impacts your skin, it impacts your hair, it impacts your mental health, it impacts your libido. That is your entire life. So not only are we struggling with these hormonal imbalances, but the number of symptoms you could be experiencing are vast. And it's interesting, when I do a post on social media talking about, I might say 6 lesser known symptoms of PCOS, you look at the comments and it's like, I had no idea this was connected to my PCOS. I thought I just didn't have a sex drive. I had no idea it could be related to my PCOS. And that's where that education gap comes in. But it's good we talk about this, because I just feel like for someone that doesn't have PCOS, and let's say someone with PCOS, it can be an invisible condition, because we can't see, it's not like if your work colleague comes into work tomorrow with a broken leg, you can see that. You'll say, oh, look, what happened? Are you okay? Like, tell me what happened. Someone with PCOS, and that's the thing, if you're a woman with PCOS, you don't necessarily want to walk around with a beard. So they're doing what they can to cover up. You don't want your personal details out there. So for everyone without PCOS, it can be a very invisible condition. So it's just very, very important to speak about this, just to highlight the struggles they do go through, so we can have a bit more empathy towards their plight.